welcome to my channel. My name is Adora, and if you're just seeing this face for the first time, thank you very much for stopping by. And I do hope that before you get to the end of this video, you will have a reason to subscribe. And to my old returning subscribers, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I love you loads, and I just want to appreciate you more and more for always watching my videos. Okay, so today, it has come to my knowledge that a lot of people feel very uncomfortable when we say things about the UK or about living in the diaspora that doesn't suit them. And I'm referring to people who are still back home, people who are in Africa, and people who are in Africa. This message is for you. I've come to understand that most of the time when people in diaspora say things or talk about the experiences or the struggles they are passing through, be it in the US, in the UK, anywhere in Europe, most of you guys are always too fast to attack. You're always kind of defensive. You're always too fast to say things like, if it's not working for you, why don't you come back? Stop trying to discourage us. We will still get there. You know? And recently I watched a video about this girl. It's a TikTok video, and this lady was talking about her struggles, her own personal struggles, what she was encountering in Canada that she didn't expect to go through, to pass through that thing, and what she just went through. So she was just like giving her own experiences, and she was also preferring solutions to people on how to avoid that kind of problem if they get into Canada, or if they experience it, kind of, So a lot of people just rushed straight and they were attacking her. Oh, you're trying to discourage us from coming to Canada. We're gonna come there whether you like it or not. Some people were saying things like, if you're not enjoying it there, why don't you come back, and this and that. And I was like, wow, why can't we just be patient and hear people out before you rush at them? Now, to be very honest, as I'm always very, very honest and blunt when it comes to issues like this. If you are the kind of person, or if you're always of the opinion that when people in diaspora try to tell you things or tell you what they're struggling or going through, or the hardship they're passing through, and you think it's always a discouragement to you, or you think they always try to make you not want to come over and join them, honestly, it's not new. What you're doing now, I have done that in the past. I was once in that shoes. I remember so many years back home. Whenever I hear people complain, oh, the bills, the expenses, they're paying too much bills, especially in UK, they're paying too much bills, and bills is too heavy, is this one, is that one. I used to look at them like, UK people, stingy people. They're always complaining about bills. They're always lamenting about what they're paying and all that. I used to say that, but here I am now after so many years, and that thing they were complaining of before, I am experiencing it, and I must tell you, it is not funny. So if you are still complaining and thinking people are trying to discourage you from coming and all that, I understand where you're coming from, but I just want to make you understand the fact that it's not everything you should be defensive towards. It's not everything that you should think people are trying to discourage you. Sometimes be patient enough to hear where they are coming from, to hear what it is they have to say. Then take your time. If someone says about 10 things, out of the 10 things, at least one must make sense. One out of those 10 things must make sense. Then you work with that one that makes sense. Sometimes if you are not there, you will never understand. I always tell people, listen, before you travel out to wherever you want to travel to, always make research. Good enough, we are in a time now where information is accessible to us in a twinkle of an eye. You have your phones, you have the internet. Whatever it is that is not clear, you want to know about, you want to make your research about, ask questions, go to the internet, make your research. Try as much as possible to get things done before it is done, if you get where I'm coming from. Now, I remember a man I used to know back then. He was kind of a neighbor. We're living in the same neighborhood. So I remember back then when things were really hard for this man. So he flew over to Ireland with his family, and after a while in Ireland, the man couldn't bear it. He went back home, but he left his family in Ireland and he went back home. Now, the reason why he went back home was because of so many reasons. He said he couldn't bear the weather. It was just too cold for him, and because he's asthmatic, he's an asthma person, so he couldn't stand it, health wise, which is understandable. Secondly, he couldn't get the job of his choice. He's well learned, and then coming over to a place where you will not really get what you expect, so he had to go back. And then thirdly, the third reason he gave is that the system kind of favors women more. So he is a kind of person who just believes that no, it's just too feminist kind of. It's kind of a feminist society. He won't be able to cope. They will just make him lose his brains or lose his mind and all that. That every little thing that happens is always the man's fault, while the woman is allowed to go free and all that. So those were his own reasons. Like I said, everybody is entitled to their opinion and thoughts. So he went back. So this happened so many years. I'm talking about many years ago, when internet was not really in vogue. It's not like now where the thing is everywhere. So he didn't have a proper foresight about what he was going to see before he delved into it, and then he decided to go back. Now, where am I coming from? You see, there's a difference between traveling to a place to visit on tourism and residing in the place. There's a difference between being a visitor and being a resident of a country. I, for one, when I used to come to the UK, before I relocated to UK, I used to visit. So back then, whenever I'm coming, it was just for fun, just for the enjoyment part of it, just to move around, see places, see things, go with friends and all that. And then I always wanted to hang out with my friends. But my friends didn't always have the time to hang out with me. But then I used to say, what are they feeling like? Is it because they live in UK? I just came to UK and I want to spend some time with them. I want to visit them. I want to see them. I want us to hang out, and they don't want to hang out with me. But I didn't understand that there was no time. They didn't have the time. They were always working. And why were they always working? Because they had a lot of bills and expenses choking them that needed to be sorted out. But you see me, with the myopic mindset I came with from there, I just thought they were feeling too big, to be around me. It was when I came into the system that I discovered that every little minute you waste is gone, and that minute counts. So a lot of people decide to put their time into work, because when they think of the expectations that are waiting for them, when they think of families back home that are waiting for them to send money, when they think of some accomplishments that they have set in their mind before they even came to the UK, that from now to 5 years, from now to 6 years, I want to build a house back home, I want to ride my car, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to relocate back to Nigeria or Ghana or wherever, so I need to work now, save some money and go back. When they think about some of these plans they had initially, they decide to put all their time to work. So that is why some of them don't even have the time for themselves, let alone you. So you have to bear at the back of your mind that some of these things are the kind of things you are likely to see. Not everybody. There are people in this country that their friends, family members, they have not seen for months. You can be in the same state, in the same city, with a very, very, very good friend of yours before, or even a family member. But you'll be surprised that for months you won't see each other. You will all be talking on phone. That is just to tell you how busy and how tight life is for people who live abroad. Also, another thing I want you to also know is that when you hear people talking about what they are passing through or the struggles they are going through, it is not necessarily to discourage you. It's also to prepare your mind so that when you come in, even when you're about to encounter those struggles they have encountered in the past, you will also see a reason or a result, a way to come out of that mess that is about to hook you. Because in some cases, it will hook you. If you're not careful, it will drain you. And before you know it, you become depressed. Before you know it, you'll become depressed. So it's very, very, very important when people are sometimes talking about what they're going through. Don't just look at the like they don't just think it's all about complaints. They're complaining, they're lamenting, they're nagging, they're discouraging you. It's not all about that. Out of every point they will make, just take one that you think you will work with and actually work with that. I remember some many years back, there was a story I read. This one was a story I read in the papers here in UK. A particular guy came from Africa. Before he came from Africa, he had already booked his B&B, his hotel accommodation that he was going to stay in UK when he comes. So he came in from Africa. He landed at Heathrow Airport. When he got to Heathrow Airport, he spent 2 days with his friend there. Then he came over. He traveled to the city where he actually had his B&B booked for him. On getting to this place, he took a taxi from the train station. On getting to this place, he discovered that the address that was given to him by the person that actually rented the B&B to him was a fake address. He knocked at the door and someone opened the door and said, no, this is not a B&B. This is a private residential house. And this guy was like, no, this is the address I have. He was showing the owner of the house. This is the address. And for real, it was actually the address. The real address, the postcode, everything was the same. It matched. But the difference here is that this house is not a B&B. It is not a hotel. It's not a guest house. It's actually a private residential house. So they explained to this man that, wow, you have just been scammed. Where did you meet this person? He said online. They said, how did you meet the person? He said he met the person through Facebook, because he actually put up a question on a particular group on Facebook that he's coming to the UK. He needs a place to stay. He needs to be able to get a cheap accommodation. And somebody replied and said, okay, yes, this is, I have something like this. I have something like that. And he paid the money over the phone. And immediately he told this house owner that I sent the money to the person's bank account. They told him, just forget it, the money is gone. So, you see, when you're just coming in, these are some of the things you should know about. These are some of the things you should actually try to be wary about. So when you hear, if this man now that has been scammed, if he comes online now to make a video and say, oh, see how I was scammed by, how something, you will also be the ones to rush him and say, oh, you're trying to discourage us. There's nothing like that. Nobody scammed you and all that. But you will know that it actually happened. So sometimes just be patient enough to hear people's story and know how to incorporate it into your own, how to work with it. Another point I want to make is that if you have not traveled out to the Western world or anywhere before, you are definitely walking into a very strange terrain. You need all the help and guidance that you can possibly have. You need all the help, all the advice, all the direction, everything, especially if you do not have anybody in that country. There are people that when they come into a country, into a strange country, let's say UK, America, Canada, wherever, they have somebody they're already going to meet. They have someone that is already about to welcome them or going to host them. So you are lucky if you fall into this category to have somebody who is expecting you, or who, you're going to be able to get one or two advices from time to time, because the person is going to put you through at least the first 2, 3, 4 weeks. The person is going to put you through, take you places. You should know basic things. You should know about the country and the environment and the place you live. So you are lucky. But whereby you have nobody at all, you're just going into a strange country, you don't know anybody, you're just going to start living life on just, on your own. You really need to make a lot of research. You need to ask a lot of questions about what you are about to get into, what you're going to expect, where you're going to, what is it like living there. You have to really dig in and ask a lot of questions, because you don't have anybody to guide you. So sometimes when you hear people talk about, oh, what we went through, what I went through in UK, or what I went through in Canada, or it's just for you to work with it, not for you to attack the person and think everybody is trying to stop you from coming into the UK, or stop you from coming into Canada, or from entering any part of the European country. Just work with what you hear and leave the one you don't like. The one you don't like, leave it alone. You don't always have to attack the person that is trying to guide you indirectly. Before I came here, when I used to travel, I used to visit the UK. I used to come as a visitor then. Then I was living with family. So sometimes I go, there are these shops around the houses, neighborhoods, they are called corner shops or off-license corner shops. So these are small shops, small supermarkets, just small provision shops and all that, where we go to buy stuffs just to use for the house. So I used to go there to buy things to eat. And then one day my cousin said to me, you cannot keep buying things from here. They are very expensive. When you go to the major shops, the big shops, you get them there cheaper. The same things you're buying from the corner shops, you get them from the big shops at a very cheap rate. And I didn't know because I was only visiting. I didn't know that there are places where you can compare prices and save money. So I was just going to this shop beside me and I would do a lot of shopping there. And when she later took me to the big shops where I can do the normal shopping at a cheaper rate, I discovered that the difference in prices was just huge. And here in this country, especially, it's all about saving. It's all about saving money. It's all about going for the cheapest with at a good quality, but at least something more affordable. There's no money. Every penny counts in this country. There's no money to throw around. So I didn't know because I was not told. I didn't know. I've not experienced that before. But I was lucky because she told me, because she put me through. Now, if I come out tomorrow and say, hey, see how I was wasting money in one off-license shop when I could have gone. Some people might probably come out and say, yeah, don't discourage us. It's not that expensive. It's not just 1p. It's not just 20p, things like that. So always be patient. Don't always attack the person talking. Learn to listen and know where they're coming from. Then say, okay, fine. If now that she has told us that there's an alternative to the expensive place, okay, when we get to UK, we'll go to the alternative place. Period. As easy as that. And then also, in the issue of making your research, a lot of people, especially graduates, a lot of people always want to travel abroad. And they always think that when they go abroad, they will just get into the same job they were doing back home. It's not always the case. Because in most cases, especially here in UK, they don't really rely on your degree from back home. Unless if you actually schooled here in the UK or you have one or two courses that you have done that you can use to get a job. Yeah, they respect those ones better. So when you now say things like, hey, I studied biochemistry or I studied one big course back home and I came here and I couldn't get a job and I'm now doing a menial job, I'm doing something I didn't expect, people will be like, don't discourage us, don't tell us that they cannot take you. They will take us if we come. By the grace of God, when we come with our pilot degree, they will take us. Some of these things, nobody is discouraging you. We're only saying this is what you are likely to expect or to get when you get into the country, when you come in. So just have an open mind that you're not walking into something that is so difficult or undoable. Everything is possible in life. It just depends on your attitude towards life. But stop trying to make the person passing his or her message out to you look like some kind of demons that they're trying to discourage you from getting into from traveling out, from getting to the UK or from getting to the US. Some people just make it look like, stop trying to discourage us. If it's not that good, why are you there? If life is so expensive, why are you there? If you're not making it, come back home. And it's really not nice, because sometimes sometimes when I see, sometimes even when I see these things online, it kind of sounds like a kind of cold war between people living in diaspora and people living back home. There is this kind of small, would I say, beef between both sides, because they always feel like people living abroad in diaspora are trying to discourage them from coming in. But I personally don't think it's so. I think it's just a way of preparing your mind to know what to expect when you come into the country. And last but not the least, another point I want to make is that everything is really not as rosy as it is for people abroad. Don't always believe what you see on social media. There are people who go on social media and they will splash pictures of them spraying pounds and dollars. They will splash pictures of them popping different drinks. They will splash pictures of them wearing designer wears and all that. Some of these things are not exactly true or as true as they want you to see it. Some people are still living very fake lives abroad. When I mean fake, I mean plastic lives here abroad, but they go online and they show you things that are not realistic. So when you see those things, those are the pictures you have in mind, and you feel like, hey, I can't wait to get to this place. When I get there, I'm going to dress like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Don't always go by what you see online, because it might not be true. If you have the intention of traveling out, like I said, make a research. Try to find out where you are going to. What do I expect from this place? What am I expected to do? How do I cope? How do I survive? Ask all these questions. Me, for one, at a point, I wanted to relocate from my city to another city within the same UK. I had to go online to know to make my own research. I wanted to find out this city I'm going to, what is it like living here? I had to ask what is the ethnicity in this particular city like? What is the crime rate in this particular city like? Can I get good schools for my children? Can I get schools that are close by to the house for my children? I had to ask a lot of questions, because you won't just jump from the known to the unknown and you're hoping for the best. You always try to, even if, nothing in life is so easy, but even if it's looking very bright, it's still good to be on the safe side, so that you don't make mistakes and then you later start regretting it and say, oh, I wish I knew it from the beginning. So my message to you guys is that do not always look at it like people are trying to discourage you from coming. The country is big, the world is big, anybody can go wherever they want to go to. It all depends on what you are going there to do. That is the major question. So thank you very much for watching this video today, and I do hope that you will put that notion behind you that people are trying to discourage you from traveling out. Thank you very much. Stay blessed. See you next time. Bye.